right?
Yes.
All right. Welcome back to the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor. That's Nick. This is your weekly gaming show where we come at you with one big topic. We got a doozy for you this week. We're talking Game Awards nominees, what we think is going to be nominated at the Game Awards, which will be revealed on Monday. Kind of a timestamp for the episode a little bit.
Totally, but we have two of probably the most important side pieces of content. The draft is going to be legendary, and we have a review instead of doing hot takes this week.
Yeah, so no hot takes this week because we're going to talk Mario Wonder at the top, and then because we finished it on stream, which is very fun, and then we're going to do a villains draft, a antagonist draft at the end here. It should be pretty good. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. We got a crazy day. This week's been crazy. A lot of editing, a lot of setting things up. I'm away on Saturday, which normally is the day of gaming and setting things up and podcasting and other stuff. But me being away definitely makes me have to do a lot more early in the week. And so it's been a fun week though. And there's no conversation I like discussing more in the entire planet than the Game Awards. Yeah. I can talk about GOTYs literally every second. And the second that the calendar turns, it's going to be like, oh, what's the favorite next year? It's a nonstop conversation. I love it. It's going to be a blast. I'm trying to make sure the camera can't see into my takes already because we got some hot takes coming your way, Connor. It's going to be a blast. But, yeah.
I'm shockingly still sick. So, I'm much better than I was last week. Last week I felt like I was going to die, but you can still kind of hear it in my voice a little bit.
Totally.
A little bit deeper than usual. Just a lot of snot.
Why are you saying that word on
snot?
camera?
Snot?
Yeah, you can't say that on camera. That's a gross word.
That's not gross.
That's a gross word.
Boogies?
Just don't even say it. Just say you're stuffed up. You don't need to say the amount.
But I'm not really stuffed up. It's just a lot of liquid coming out of my nostrils.
No, stop. We're done here. Okay, let's talk Mario.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to intro this review, or do you want to intro the review?
I'll let you go. You want to go first, or you can handle it?
I fucking nailed that Alan Wake intro.
No, I'm just saying. No. Do you want to go first in the review? Is what I'm saying.
It all just depends on who intros it. The second person
exactly.
Goes first.
So I'm asking you if you can take points on.
I don't care. I can take point on the questions.
The content. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I can take point on the content. We're gonna go back and forth on the content. Give our scores. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'll host it. I want to host this one again. Did I host the Spider-Man review?
Yep.
Oh, then you host this.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Lock it in. Mario Wonder. What do you say usually? Nick,
give me your spoiler-free Mario Wonder review.
All right. We just finished Mario Wonder. Nick, give me your spoiler-free review.
Mario Wonder is exactly what you think it's going to be. It is absolutely wonderful. The amount of charm in this game is off the fucking rails. It's unbelievable what this game does from a level-to-level basis. We were able to stream it with an awesome audience on Twitch every single Monday for group stream. And every single Monday, it was a delight. The streams went by so fast. The entire time, you're just smiling for 3 hours points over and over again. And then our last stream, it was also just terrific to close out this game. The worlds are great. It's a little shorter than I would want it to be, but the worlds are great. The gameplay's there. The difficulty in some of these levels are actually pretty difficult. This game kind of eases you in a little bit with the art style because it's such a cute art style, such a lovely art style. These piranha plants, you want to give them a big hug. You don't want to jump on them or fireball them. And so it's delightful. I love this game. I can't shut up about this game. And on our review scale, I would give it a 9 out of 10. The same score I gave Spider-Man. That just shows how great of a year of gaming we're in. It's not about this overarching, I'm just giving out great scores left and right. We're just in the best year of gaming of all time. There's a lot of 9 out of 10 games this year. There's a lot of 8 out of 10 games this year. There's a few 10 out of 10 games this year. It's a great year of gaming, and this is a great end cap. October 20th, one of the greatest days in gaming history. Connor, what's your thoughts?
You really couldn't get through one sentence without saying wonderful.
I couldn't. It's wonderful, Connor.
Because that's what this game is. This game is a wonder. It has a ton of charm, a ton of magic to it. It, like you said, is really hard to just not smile your way through it because you're getting surprised from level to level. And that is the game's biggest strength and the biggest weakness, in my opinion. Its biggest strength is how different each level feels, and you're getting new gameplay mechanics thrown in your face constantly, which is super fun. You're just like looking forward to the next thing. But my biggest gripe with it is that it feels like you don't get to spend a lot of time with some of these ideas. Right when something is getting really good, it's moving on to the next one, which is just a double-edged sword. It's great and also a little bit of a disappointment. But this is the best Mario has felt since Super Mario World. It's undeniable that this is the next era, moving on from the new Super Mario Bros. Era. So I think Mario's future is bright. I would give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Just a few things hold it back, namely that little gripe that I have. And then I wish the music was a little bit more memorable. Mario has some of the most memorable soundtracks in gaming history, and I just think it's a little weak in that area here.
Totally. What is your favorite part about Mario Wonder?
My favorite part is those different gameplay mechanics from level to level. I think that is extremely exciting and keeps you on edge the entire time, just waiting for that next twist and turn. And the fact that it just stays that way throughout the 8-hour runtime is incredible. It is a legitimate wonder that they pulled that off. What about you, Nick? What's your favorite thing?
My favorite part is the amount to do in this game. Although there's not as many worlds as certain 2D Marios, the amount you can do in this game is unbelievable. Of course, you have your 3-star mechanics. You're able to go back in, try to get 3 stars every single level. But the real magic that we found was that co-op experience. Playing it by yourself, I think, would be delightful. But playing it with you and Brady on the couch, we were crying laughing sometimes with the scenarios that this game puts you in. And that is an elite feeling to have when you have that couch co-op moment to moment to moment. It just doesn't stop. And that was a big factor to why I'm so high on this game, because I'm like, the single player aspect of this game would be a blast. I still think it would be a 9 out of 10 if I played it by myself. But man, oh man, what a great game to play with your friends on the couch.
Right.
Absolutely awesome. And so I feel like, yeah, you can beat this game in 8 to 10 hours, but if you play it with some friends sometimes, you play it by yourself, you go full completionist mode, you can do like 20 hours of just smiling the entire time. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. They absolutely killed it with this game. Nintendo was absolutely in their bag, and I'm actually really proud to say that it's another banger. Like, we are in a year with another banger, and that's really awesome.
Right. Okay, there it is.
You want to talk some GOTYs?
There's the review, yeah. We're going to switch into GOTY mode now. We've been holding back on this conversation. So the slate that we're going with right now, we are going to do nominees this week, correct? Yep. And then the nominees come out on Monday.
Yep.
So watch it now, because this is coming in hot on Thursday.
You got 4 days to watch it, and then if you see the nominees and you want to come back and watch this conversation and be like, were they right?
Right.
Then that'll
Because I got some
fun.
takes in here, dude.
So do I.
I got some big takes. So yeah, I think that, was that a bug?
Yeah, there's been a fly in here for like all day. It don't matter. Okay. Don't worry about it.
So then we have guessing what we think is going to win each category
after we know
the nominees for next week's podcast.
Yep.
And then we just go from there.
The week after that, we got a betting special for you guys, predicting what's happening at the Game Awards. Things like GTA 6. Could it happen?
Potentially.
It's not going to happen.
What a weird announcement.
But yeah, we don't need to deal with that on this podcast. That is a whole can of worms that we do not need to
just a tweet
to deal with.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's the announcement of the announcement. It's funny.
Right, that's weird.
But, and then the week after that, Connor and I, it'll just be Connor and I. So that casual gaming will be a little bit of a different style. It will be an edited video. Shane, our fourth member, will be part of it. Brady will be part of it. We'll both be part of it. We'll be tossing around bets, predictions for some wild stuff. Will someone storm the stage again? We'll see.
Right.
And then the week after that, it's Connor and I's own personal predictions, coming in with our lock, coming in with our lengthy, coming in with our long shot predictions. And then we got GOTYs. So we got a lot of different awesome Game of the Year conversations coming your way. And then after Game Awards, we got our own list. We got some serious, crazy discussions to discuss about this year of gaming, because it's just been wild, like I keep on saying.
Fun.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Do you want to just jump right into it?
I want to go up the list.
So, bottom is least important to most important, right?
Sure, we can take it however way you want.
I'll
you
go in
host
order.
it. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to kick it off with the indie. We're not doing every category, by the way. Just like big categories that we might have.
2, 4, 6, 8 categories.
8 categories.
There's 30 getting announced, and we're just doing the big 8.
Right.
No family game. Which it was close. We talked about it. Is that part of the big 8? And I'm like, well, it's gonna go to Mario Wonder or Tears, so it's not.
It's going to Mario Wonder for sure.
You don't think Tears?
For a family game?
I just think that it's the best game. Oh, this could have been a fun conversation. Anyways, I would take Tears as my winner in that category.
Okay, but we're not, and also we're not talking about who we think is going to win each category tonight, right?
We're just doing nominations. What do we think the big 6 are going to be?
Yeah. Okay. So for indie,
Yep.
kick us off, Nick.
I have Dave the Diver, Dredge, Viewfinder, Sea of Stars, and Cocoon. Do you want to give me yours, or do you want to see the difference?
I had Sea of Stars, Dredge, Cocoon, Dave the Diver, and Blasphemous 2.
Okay,
so the only difference is you have Viewfinder and I have Blasphemous 2. Dude, Viewfinder sucks.
Really?
I mean, I don't like it.
Did you give it a shot?
Yeah, I played it, and I hate the Marvel voice acting in it.
Really?
You like have to turn off the voice acting. There's like a video of a guy, like she says a line, she's like, did I just bend space and time with my camera basically? And then he's like, mute. He's like, I'm not doing this for the entire game. Yeah, it's bad.
It reviewed very well though.
But I feel like nobody talks about it at this point.
I think though when it comes to the indie category, it got played by a lot of people because it was a big PlayStation game, especially in a down-ish time of the year. Mm-hmm. And I think that it got played enough to put it there. But Blasphemous 2, is that what this game is called?
Yeah.
What's that deal?
It's kind of like a Metroidvania.
Okay.
It reviewed really well.
Yep.
I think it's like in the high 80s.
Okay.
And the original is really popular as well. And the people who love Blasphemous, love Blasphemous. And I feel like that's, throughout this podcast, that's going to be a thing we return to. It's like the people who go to bat for some things, like, that will change what gets nominated and what doesn't. Because, by the way, just to preface this, if you don't know about the Game Awards, it is decided by journalists, by games media.
10% fan vote, 90% journalists and games media.
So that's a really important bit because you got to get in the mind of these California journalists. They love their pretentious games sometimes, their artsy fartsy stuff. So
absolutely,
yeah. Moving on to RPG. I'll kick it off this time. I have Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 16.
Okay.
Sea of Stars.
Okay.
Fire Emblem Engage. And Octopath Traveler 2.
No BG?
No.
Okay, that's wild. BG's gonna be on that list 100%.
I know that it is an RPG, but I think that it's a CRPG. So, I get it. But I think that when it comes to giving certain games flowers, you need, and we play this game every year, where we're you need to understand that certain games need to get some recognition, and this could be a space for a game like Octopath Traveler 2 and Fire Emblem Engage to get that recognition, because those are great games. So I think BG3 fits a little bit on the outside of the RPG standpoint enough, being a CRPG.
Did you have Starfield in there real quick?
No.
Oh my gosh, we have very different.
That's a good point. What do you
read? Yeah, so I have BG3, which is Baldur's Gate 3. I'll just be saying that as the game for the rest of the night, so just to say that one time. Starfield, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, Sea of Stars, and Diablo 4.
Diablo 4?
Yeah. You're picking your rogue, you're picking your character. Absolutely an RPG.
Yeah. If I were to take something off of my list with the BG3 thing, I would take Fire Emblem Engage off and put that on there.
But FF16, I think, is just a wild take. A lot of people don't look at that game as, or doesn't have enough RPG elements.
It's Final Fantasy. It has more RPG elements than a lot of freaking JRPGs that come out now.
I know, I'm just saying.
Because it has action aspects doesn't mean that it's not.
I would not be shocked if it's not there. That is my biggest thing. Where I was making my list and I'm like, I think what you said, it's the spot. I have Final Fantasy on a lot of these nominees. And so for RPG, I'm like, Starfield's a big one, BG3, big one. Cyberpunk, this is the only area that I think is going to get nominated. Sea of Stars, it's a big one, especially in the indie space. And then Diablo 4. And I could see this being an area. If BG3 is there, it wins. If it is not there, this could be the spot that Starfield pulls it out, or Cyberpunk pulls it out.
That's almost, I think Cyberpunk definitely could. It's just one of those things that, like we're saying, Where else is Octopath Traveler 2 going to get nominated?
It's not.
Soundtrack, maybe?
Music you could. But
dude, people love Octopath Traveler 2.
I understand that they love it, and I just think that it's going to get buried. Like, we're talking about games that, like, the Diablos, the Street Fighter 6, the Armored Cores, the Lies of P, those type of games, some of them aren't going to get nominated for anything. And so when you have those awesome fucking games, it's hard to, like, compete with that level of greatness when you have Octopath that I think is just not in the same tier for a lot of games journalists.
Right. Do you want to move on to narrative next? Hit me with your narrative list.
My narrative list, I have FF16, BG3, Alan Wake 2, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, and Spider-Man 2.
We have the exact same list here. Good job.
Dude, let's break this down a little bit. FF16, definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man 2, the people that go to bat for that story are going to go to bat, and the side quests are some of the best narrative moments of the year.
Starfield, dude.
Starfield, I can't speak to it. I only played like 4-ish hours of that game. It's really boring, in my opinion. It just does not grasp me narratively, and I think that's going to be the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be on the outside.
I think the strongest part of that game is the narrative, honestly.
Which, if that's the strongest part of the game...
You didn't give it, like, any chance, Nick.
I didn't give it enough of a chance.
I think even saying 4 hours is pushing it for how much you played that game.
I played it for 4 hours. We can pull my time played on the Xbox app. Yeah. No, I could see that, like, being in there, but I just don't think that that's the moment.
What's the one that you think gets bumped if there was one to get bumped here?
Phantom Liberty. And I hate to say it just because it is a DLC.
I think Spider-Man 2.
I think Spider-Man 2 could, just on the fact that it's not like a grandiose narrative.
The weakest part of that game is the narrative.
I think the weakest part is the combat.
Okay.
And I also think that the side quests in that game are so delightful and have some great narrative moments that, like, in the same way for FF16, you have been glowing about certain side quests in that game that are awesome moments that, like...
But the main story
is so good. Great. The main story is Game of Thrones. Come on.
Yeah. Kind of loses the script a little bit later on, but I think...
Totally. Last 10% it becomes a Final Fantasy game where just crazy shit starts happening, but it's delightful.
Alrighty. We're moving on into action game. I have Jedi Survivor.
Okay.
Liza P.
Okay.
Armored Core 6.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 16.
Okay, so your last three, I also have Armored Core 6, Spider-Man 2, FF16. But here... we have RE4 Remake entering the fray.
I had that there for a while.
And this is where it gets its moment, Hi-Fi Rush for action game.
Ooh, that's a good point.
That's the once again, we're talking about, like, there's certain things that you gotta put certain games and give them their moment. Right. Even getting nominated this year is, like, a really cool thing. If your game get nominated in this year where you are competing with some of the biggest and best, it's gonna be hard.
But Liza P has that recency bias on it. And people loved it.
People love Liza P.
More people played Liza P than played Hi-Fi Rush.
But I think the people that are going to go...
And that's just anecdotal.
I know, but when people... You talk about Liza P, the biggest thing is... It is as close as we've gotten to a FromSoft game. Mm-hmm. When people talk about Hi-Fi Rush, completely different, unbelievable. There's a reason, like, people like me cannot shut the heck up about it, because it is that brilliant of a game. Where, like... A lot of people, there's certain people that want to put Hi-Fi Rush in a tier below certain games this year. And then there's the right people that understand, no, it is in that tier. And people want to put it below just because it's the thing to put it below. It's a smaller studio. It's a smaller game. It's, this cute little game. Mm-hmm. There's moments in that game where you realize, you're like, holy shit, this is just one of the best games this year. Right. And I think that this is the moment that it gets its flowers. I'm going to say it now. I don't have Liza P on my list anywhere.
That's crazy.
And
this is where I think
Armored Core 6 was the one that I thought about bouncing for Liza P.
Really? Yep. I think this is where Armored Core 6 gets its flowers. I could see Armored Core 6 winning this.
It's not going to win it over a game like Spider-Man. I think that this is where Spider-Man gets its... Spider-Man is going to lose a lot. It's going to be nominated a lot and lose a lot.
I think that... I'm not sure about that.
Do you think it's going to win a lot?
I think it might get nominated less than you think it does.
Oh, yeah. That'd be interesting. I hope it does. I hope that, like, certain... Like, Liza P, Armored Core 6, Hi-Fi Rush, RE4 are all games that I will be really upset if they don't get a couple nods. So, I want them on that. I want them there at the end of this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on to performance, I went first last time, so...
Sure, I can hop in. I have Clive from FF16, Peter Parker from Spider-Man, Asterion from BG3, Chai from Hi-Fi Rush,
There's no
and
chance.
lastly, Alan Wake himself from Alan Wake 2.
Mr. Wake himself. I have Leon Kennedy from RE4. I have Clive Rossfield. I have Peter Parker. I have Alan Wake. And I have Saga Anderson from Alan Wake.
I think you are sleeping on the fact that somebody from BG will get nominated and Asterion is the person.
It probably. That's a good point. I don't know enough, honestly, about BG3 just from our brief experience with it. But
even in our brief experience, this guy was acting on a level.
Yeah, but I almost feel like the broader cast of that game, there might not be like a hardcore standout, and that might hurt the performance aspect of it.
I do like the
Saga. I've heard stuff about everybody. If it's between Alan and Saga gets nominated over Alan for sure.
I think that the name recognition helps a little bit. It does.
I guess.
But also, we said it once, we'll say it many times, people love their pretentious-ass games. And I could totally see the double dip for Alan Wake over something like Spider-Man, where Miles' performance is great also in that game. But it's not going to get nominated. Yeah. They're not going to double dip there.
I mean, while Miles... the performance for the actor for Miles does a good job. It's the story that really kills him, where it's like it's just not about him, so he doesn't have those great moments to shine, in my opinion. There's moments.
There's totally moments. There's a couple moments that I'm like, I personally think that if I were to like write in, I would write in Miles over Peter.
That's so funny.
Just because the best emotional moments in that game come from Miles, in my opinion.
Alrighty, moving on to soundtrack.
This is where it gets interesting. Yeah. Where there's probably 20 games that you could put in for soundtrack this year, and I would totally not judge you. Like there's not a right. There's some right answers that will be in this category, but there are not a lot of wrong ones.
Right. I have Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Stars, Alan Wake 2, and Baldur's Gate 3.
We are very different on this.
I know.
I have also Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy in any year will be a front runner in the soundtrack category. Mm-hmm. Another spot, though, that I'm like, I don't know how much FF16 gets nominated. I think every single person will write in FF16 on their list because...
How does the list work? How does the voting work?
I believe that you write in...
Three
or five. You write in multiple. Oh. You don't just write in one.
Interesting.
Which is important to say. Because we'll get there later. I have FF16. I also have BG3 for soundtrack. The music in BG3 is wild. I have Tears of the Kingdom, which you do not have on your list. Which
it's a very minimalist soundtrack. It has certain particular moments, but I don't. For Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I would not point to soundtrack as being.
I understand, but it's Zelda. At the end of the day, when people are just thinking about music this year in a broad sense, I could see a game like Sea Stars. The case is clear that Sea Stars has better music in it than Tears, but I think that people go to Tears just because of Zelda. I have Spider-Man 2 in there. There's some awesome music in that game, and there's also some awesome sound design in that game. I could easily see that it's a category that's not here, but the sound design category.
Oh, we should have had that on here.
Oh, we can discuss that a little bit, but now if you want, that's going to be and then my last one is Starfield. I think that the music in Starfield is pretty fucking elite.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not one of those situations that like that's really is not the standout aspect for me. Yeah. You don't have Alan Wake 2 on there?
I don't have Alan Wake 2 on there, so and it's kind of I wrote this before I did the review. The music in that game is great. Yeah. Like just looking at certain aspects of it. Obviously, the sound design, another game that's going to be in there for sound design for certain.
100%.
It might win it.
Yeah. I don't want to say that, but yeah. I think it is probably the best shot.
Yeah. That it's going to be funny. It's going to be between that and Forza Motorsport, which are just so different games.
Really? For sound design?
Those cars are perfect.
What else would there be?
I don't even know. I think Spider-Man will be there. Oh, Cyberpunk will definitely be there. Spider-Man will be there just based off of gadgetry and sound design of the web.
Maybe Starfield?
I can see Starfield.
With the guns. The guns do sound pretty good in that game. Not as good as Cyberpunk, though, is the only situation.
All right. But yeah, so I have Starfield in there. I'm pretty. Can you run through your list one more time? Because we're very different on this one.
Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Stars, Alan Wake 2, and BG3.
For me, I like your list more than mine. Like, if I could rewrite my list, I would write that list. I don't know which one of the three I would take out from your list because I think that there will be one more, a little bit more mainstream game in there.
Right.
Like like Sea Stars, Hi-Fi, and what's the other one that I don't have?
Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2. I think that one of those games is going to get bonked out for a Starfield, Spider-Man, or Tears. Because what do you think? That's the big three from the publishers: Starfield, Spider-Man, Tears.
Yeah.
So that one of those will be in there over that. But I do like the take of Sea Stars being there, and Hi-Fi is a hard one. Hi-Fi is a really hard one. The soundtrack in that game, when you turn off even the copyright music, it's still terrific.
Right.
It's still
There's not a
unbelievable.
ton of copyright music in there.
There's not a ton, and
There's a lot of original music.
the original music's fucking awesome, and the copyright music's awesome. But like that game is awesome. If you don't know, I'm very high on the Rush. But like it's terrific. The two big ones left.
Direction is you first.
Okay. Oh, that means GOTY's is you first. That's gonna be great. Game direction: Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Starfield, Alan Wake 2.
I have the same list except switch out Final Fantasy for Sea of Stars. I think the game direction aspect is iffy for some people for Final Fantasy 16. I don't think that you don't point to Final Fantasy 16 and be like, that is a really well directed game. When it comes to
I'm playing the game right now. Tears and BG3 are guarantees for a category like this, in my eyes.
Yes.
Alan Wake 2, FF16, Starfield. Three of the most notable game directors in the industry right now.
I think Starfield, like, if you're gonna win something, like, this could be it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing that, like, the direction is kind of on point.
I think Alan Wake could easily also win this category.
Yeah.
I think that the direction of that game and the way that you've discussed that game
and
is...
also Tears and BG3.
Tears, game direction... I think BG3 is, if we were doing Bayonetta, it's the front runner. Just because of how broad and big that game is.
I don't agree. But for direction, Tears,
you think it's Tears?
Would probably be the front runner.
What I'm saying is all five of my picks, very well-known directors. And when you're writing in game direction, if you're able to make the connection,
that's true.
It's going to help a lot. And so Sea of Stars, I like, this isn't, it's an indie game. I don't know the director off the top of my head.
Yeah,
and
the direction is really good.
The direction is great, yeah.
Game of the year.
This is where you guys settle in for a 45-minute argument. Not actually, but like...
Let me clear my throat real fast, sorry. Okay, there we go.
I mean, this might get broken out for TikTok, so...
Yeah. Do you want to shoot it like a TikTok?
No, or like just...
I'll intro it.
No, I can, because I'm asking you first. You have to say your list first.
Okay.
It's the fun part. You show me yours, I'll show you mine, if you know what I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 6 games we believe will be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Connor, what is your list?
I want to preface this by saying that I'm trying to get into the minds of the journalists who are voting on this. So keep that in mind. I'll try to give my reasoning for the one big omission here after this. My prediction for Game of the Year for the Game Awards, for the nominees, are Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, Final Fantasy 16, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Starfield. No Spider-Man 2. Do I think it deserves to be in the top 6? Yes. Do I think journalists who really like Starfield, certain journalists really bang the drum for Starfield? I feel like not a lot of people putting Spider-Man in the upper echelon for this year for journalists. I think the masses are gonna say Spider-Man 2, but I think the people who do this for a living might think a little bit differently. So Starfield eking it out over Spider-Man 2. And I've flipped some stuff around all week trying to figure this out. Let's hear it from you, Nick. What do you think are the 6 games for Game of the Year?
We're going to kick it off with the 2 big dogs, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Most likely one of those two is going to win it. I have Final Fantasy 16 on my list. I think that is the next game up. But also in that same conversation, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Then, I have Spider-Man 2. Because I think it's going to be there. And my last game is Starfield.
Oh, wow.
No Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
And
That's fair.
I think 2D Mario is just a harder sell. I think that a lot of people, when they discuss this game, it's harder. Like, I think on our list even, it's going to end in a middling spot in our top 10. And so there's going to be people that are like, Starfield, Spider-Man, and then obviously BG3 and the Tears fans are going to be clashing like Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, it's going to be an epic battle up top. And so, yeah, and don't sleep on Alan Wake 2. Dark Horse, if there was legitimate betting odds on this, I'd throw some cash down on Alan Wake 2. Because I think that there's a chance that these pretentious, nerdy journalists love a pretentious game, an artsy-fartsy game like Alan Wake 2. And I could see it at the Game Awards shocking the world and being the game of the year. Those are my 6 games.
Fantastic. What are the games that you think could get nominated that are not on either of our lists?
I do have a thing called First Out. Like, these are the games that are just got eked out. Mario Wonder is the top of that list for me. It really just...
What's
it's not
next?
RE4. I think RE4...
I think Sea Stars over RE4.
I think that Sea Stars is going to... Sea Stars is such a tough one. Like, for me,
Dude, the remakes for this year just are... In any other year, I think Dead Space and RE4 win in certain aspects or whatever. Like, the whole gosh darn thing. For them not to be nominated, it is literally just because they are remakes. Like, which sucks, because I love Dead Space.
And I love RE4.
And I love RE4 too. But
and I enjoy Dead Space also. Yeah. But it's...
Oh my god, this guy.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be honest with my opinion. But I like... Indie, Sea Stars, I have it on there. RPG, Sea Stars, I have it on there. Like, soundtrack, it might be on there. And so I think that it's going to get its flowers. But, like, most years, there's an indie game in there. Most years, there's a little, like... something spicy, where last year Stray made it to the big dance.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
could
so,
like Eliza P end up on there?
Eliza P, Armored Core, Hi-Fi.
Armored Core is a good pull.
And Phantom Liberty, I just don't.
I would love Phantom Liberty to be on there, but it's just because it's a DLC.
That's the thing, where if you can find this year a reason to not put a game on a list, it's not going on there.
That's the reason for Spider-Man, is that I think that it's too much more Spider-Man.
I think that there's certain people, though, that are going to say that that's the game of the year.
That's wild to me.
But
I cannot believe in this year that there is legitimately people who think that this game is better than Tears or BG3 or Alan Wake 2. That makes no sense to me.
I mean...
And I love Spider-Man 2, but, like, come on, guys. Or RE4 or Dead Space, like...
Yeah.
What are we doing over here?
So for me, I think that a lot of people... Also, I think that you are spot on with your Starfield take. I think a lot of people will not have Starfield on their list. Where it's
a lot of people have it at their one.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people have it at their one. And I also do think that representation across the big 3 publishers is important.
Yeah.
Where, like, Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation will be there. It makes for a more interesting show. This is always going to be a celebration of games, and I think that a lot of people look at that we need some representation of all 3. What's up?
Wouldn't it be funny if Starfield like won?
Dude.
People would riot, dude.
It's going to be Tears or BG3. We're going to save that for the next podcast, that long debate. I'm like, I really want Alan Wake 2
Did they confirm that it's they're not expanding the number
There's
of
no
games?
confirmation.
It would be really cool if they...
I don't want them to.
I kind of do.
Because next year, what do you do?
Right.
Next year, there is not going to be a slate. But guess what, Connor? You want to know what I realized with the GTA announcement? I'm like, next year, there's a chance we get Wolverine, GTA, and a Switch successor, which means a new 3D Mario.
Yeah.
That's a banger effing year, dude, of like
Rebirth.
Awesome games. Rebirth. Dude, Rebirth. Oh my gosh. Like that's a banger.
There's a lot we don't know about.
DS2, I think we get a date at the awards. So that could be next year.
Dark Souls 2?
No, I'm going to say Death Stranding 2. Also, on the Game Awards last year, it was called DS2. It wasn't even...
Yeah, it doesn't have an official name. That is the code name, apparently.
Yeah, it should be called Death Stranding 2.
I don't think it will be.
I don't. Well, it's Kojima.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
It's Kojima, dude.
I just realized you got a Metal Gear and a Kojima shirt. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my first out are RE4 and Mario Wonder.
Yeah, I think for me it's Spider-Man is the first out, and then
Sea of Stars, you said.
Sea of Stars, then Armored Core would be my three.
Armored Core, it's sneaky because it's From.
Yeah.
I think that people like kind of forget how beloved certain.
And I think
From.
some people could put it like I think Blessing would probably put that like as 1 or 2 for him for the
So
year.
my thing is, I don't know if I legitimately don't know. I believe that the voters, it says kind of funny. It doesn't say Blessing.
No, it does. Everybody gets to do their individual lists.
And shoot them in.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I could see something like because at the end of the day, there's going to be certain people that have Spider-Man in as their 5 and as their 4. Everyone played it. Like that's
Right.
one of those games that just everyone played. In a year where I don't think everyone played Lies of P, I don't think everyone played Spider-Man. These games that I have here, every single person in the industry got their hands on for at least a bit. And that's why I think that it's like a guarantee. Sea Stars is another one of those examples where I'm like, yeah, it's going to get some indie categories. It's going to ball out in the indie
Right.
categories. I just don't think it'll be able to do it in the overall. Let's
Right
draft.
on. Let's hit it.
Oh man, that was fun. I love it so much, dude. I love talking GOTY so much. I can do this literally all day. We can go round and round about these 6 games. Jedi Survivor, you only mentioned one time. That's absurd.
I know.
In April, guaranteed to be on GOTY list.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it's mentioned one time, and it's not even for the big dance.
Right. It could eke up there, I guess.
People that think that like that Diablo, Street
No
Fighter 6.
way Diablo.
Yeah, I
is.
know, but Street Fighter 6 also. I don't
Street
think
Fighter 6 will just get
fighting game.
over Mortal Kombat.
I know it'll be over Mortal Kombat, but I love Mortal Kombat, dude.
you sure do.
I straight up like I just don't have time this week, but all I want to do on Friday is just like chill. I'm supposed to be playing Lies of P right now. I just want to play more Mortal Kombat. I love it. Love it. Let's draft some villains, dude.
Okay. I feel like based off of my list, I could potentially like get most of my top 5.
Yeah, that could check.
All right. I'm enjoying it. You're going first?
Sure. We snaking?
Yes. Snaking.
Oh shit! I don't want first in this draft.
Okay. I can.
Yeah, I don't want first in this draft at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want first in this draft.
No,
at
you're
all.
taking first because you get first. Wait, no. I go. I don't get first. Have I gone first the last few times?
I think you went first. Yeah, I should go first this time.
Yeah, we should go back and forth.
I've introed like the last 4 drafts. So yeah.
All right. Today we are drafting video game villains, antagonists, baddies. Nick, what is your number 1 pick?
It might not be everyone's number 1 pick. Some people might think I should go with certain Nintendo characters at this point, just for name recognition. I'm not. I don't care. I'm gonna pick the best villain in the medium. Give me Sephiroth, FF7. He's the GOAT.
Not in my top 10.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest to ever do it.
No,
Also
he's-
has the most iconic villain theme ever. Like, if you want to do like the Empire March in Star Wars, okay, that can count for Vader. But like the One-Winged Angel, dude, come on, give me 101. I love that pick. Connor's gonna have a boring list now.
My number 1 pick for the villains draft, I'm going to go with Ganondorf. Zelda icon. Big beefy boy. He's terrifying. He's scary. Even without being voiced in previous games, in Ocarina of Time, still just absolutely terrifying. His different forms, his different eras as a character. He's scary all the time. We're going with Ganondorf.
Okay.
With my second pick, we're going to go with the iconic Metal Gear Solid villain. We're going Psycho Mantis.
You just wanted to say it. That's the only reason you made that pick. You just want to say that into the mic.
Psycho Mantis. Yeah, we're going Psycho Mantis. He reads your mind. He reads your memory card. He turns your volume down. He's so cool. He's got a great voice. He is iconic. He's terrifying. one of the greatest boss fights in video game history, Psycho Mantis, with my second pick.
I can't believe that he's still here for my pick. I thought he should be the 101 most likely. I'm going to take Bowser. Duh. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what did you just do? I understand that, like, cannons are awesome.
Bowser kind of sucks. I know he's, like, iconic, but, like, he has got no character. He just wants to get in Peach's bag. That's it.
Has your villains ever sang Peaches before? Because I don't think they have.
No, that was Zach Black, actually.
Oh, dude, he's
good. A national treasure. He's no villain.
And then for my third villain, I am going to take GLaDOS from Portal.
Great pick.
That's Portal 1, Portal 2. Holy smokes, what a perfect villain. Terrifying in their own right. Also just
hilarious.
Awesome. Yeah, just really a great villain. And it's also just when you think of the greatest games of all time, Portal jumps to the top of your mind. It's terrific. Give me GLaDOS.
Nice. Go again.
I already.
Oh, you did Bowser. Yeah,
yep.
My bad. With my third pick, I'm gonna go with David from The Last of Us. An absolute creep. David can kick rocks. This guy sucks. He's creepy. He's terrifying. No spoilers, but you don't want to mess with David. And I don't want anything to do with him either. Fuck David. Everybody hates David.
All my homies hate David.
My homies hate
Isn't
David.
that voiced by
Troy Baker?
Troy Baker?
No,
it's Nolan North. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say the baker is Joel. Yeah. Nolan North.
Which is hilarious. That's such a weird turn from Drake to David. That makes no sense. With my fourth pick, I'm going to take Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. You love a good villain who's hilarious, kind of likable, you're kind of rooting for him, but at the end of the day, he's evil. He's the worst. He's a great villain, iconic. When you point to Borderlands, he's who you point to for the most part as an iconic character. Handsome Jack was my fourth pick.
I'm going to take one of the greatest villains, period, in just anything ever. Give me the Joker from the Arkham series. Dude, so good. Speaking of Troy Baker, oh my gosh. No, is it Baker or is it Hamill?
It switches.
Yeah, okay.
It's Baker in Origins, it's Hamill in the other ones.
Yeah, I was about to say I was like, I know it's Baker, but I also know it's Hamill.
Yeah.
So give me the Joker from the Arkham series. I feel like it's one of the greatest villains in anything ever, anyways. But he's also terrific in those games. And then lastly, a couple places I can go. I'm thinking about Kojima on some level for certain villains, but I'm gonna go outside the Kojima realm, and I'm gonna go with Pyramid Head, Silent Hill 2, one of the greatest to ever do it. He rounds out my squad. He's playing center on my basketball team, right? But also just terrifying. One of the scariest villains to ever do it. Thought about going with Resident Evil villains. Thought about
Mr. X.
Mr. X, yeah, but Nemesis. No, I decided to go with Pyramid Head. I think that I drafted a really, really solid team for that competes really well. That GLaDOS pick at 3, steal. Bowser at 2, steal. Come on.
The reason this draft is so hard is because there's so many great villains and so many different directions you can go in. Check out our honorable mentions on YouTube. We do the honorable mentions after we do the draft, so check that out because there's going to be a lot of them here.
Yeah.
With my last pick, I'm going to pick with my heart here, and this is why Sephiroth wasn't on my list. I'm taking Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going Xemnas.
No, that's Kingdom Hearts.
I know, but I'm just saying, Sephiroth. It's Square. I just thought that you were taking, the other big Square baddie, all right?
Yeah. We're going Kefka, the ideal Final Fantasy villain. An absolute psycho. The mad jester. Just wants to see the world burn. He'll poison entire cities just to get what he wants. He's crazy. He's out there. Kefka. Amazing.
He's on the streets.
He's on the streets.
He's on the streets.
Alrighty, that is the draft.
Do you want to?
I have so many.
So we didn't Dr. Robotnik from Sega Sonic fame.
Yeah.
That was one that like I literally thought of, and
Or
then
Dr. Wily could have been on there from Mega Man.
yeah, didn't think about either of those, and those are just iconic franchises.
We have Kamoshida from Persona 5. I fucking hate that guy, dude. Like, he sucks. Like, I've never like finished out like a storyline and been like getting revenge on somebody like that and ready to like kill them in a game and been like, when we go into that palace to steal his heart, I'm like, fucking go get this guy. I hated him.
Yeah.
Kamoshida sucks. Andrew Ryan from BioShock.
I wouldn't say more than that, but yes. Yeah. That was one that I was like, I don't even want to say just because I don't want people to talk about it in the comments.
And I wouldn't go Xemnas. I would go Xehanort.
Xehanort.
He's the big bad.
Yeah, I meant to say Xehanort. But we're forgetting about the better between Ragnarok and the original God of War 2018. The Stranger, I think, is like one of the most important and amazing villains ever. When you think about Norse mythology, you don't think about... Is it Baldur?
That sounds right.
I can look it up real quick. But...
I'll rip some other ones. People are going to lambaste us for not putting Voss on there, the Far Cry 3 villain.
Yeah.
People love him. But I almost feel like it's just because of that one trailer. Do you know what the definition of insanity? Like, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's Baldur.
Yeah, Baldur. And then I had Liquid Snake on there. The Elusive Man from Mass Effect.
I think you're forgetting about Mommy from Resident Evil 8.
Oh,
Lady D.
Yeah, Lady D.
I mean, she won Best Voice Actor or actress that year, yeah.
Comstock from Bioshock Infinite.
Yep.
King K. Rool from DK.
Thought about taking the other king, King Dedede.
He's not really not that menacing. He's just kind of adorable.
He's just awesome. Well, he's just great.
Dr. Nefarious from Ratchet and Clank would have been good. I think that's all I really... Oh, Mr. X. We kind of discussed.
RE. Yeah, Mr. X would be a good take.
This is not really like a good character. He's just fucking terrifying.
Yeah, which I think was my pick of Pyramid Head. Just similar vibes where it's like, I'm going to... Holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great pick.
Yeah. And I remember when like I made a bracket for most iconic PlayStation character of all time and like just things affiliated with PlayStation. Like Pyramid Head was like a 5 seed because it's just like so iconic and so terrifying. I thought about saying the cops from GTA. Come on. There's nothing more as terrifying than getting 5 stars on that game. But yeah, no, there were some great picks that we didn't get to put in there, which is sad. Dude, we get to talk. Monday, we're reacting, or I will be reacting. You'll see this if you're on YouTube to the nomination. So you guys get to see my live reaction, me freak out. I'll have my list up, so I'll be like in the moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm locked in though with my list at this point. Where I for the longest time had Mario Wonder and not Starfield.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, Starfield's gonna get in.
Yeah.
I don't think it should, but it's going to.
Yeah.
I like one game I would not actually put a review score on because I haven't played enough of it with Starfield. But if I played a lot of it, I could tell it wasn't for me. So we would have reviewed low.
But it's for somebody. That's the thing. It's for the people who
it's a 10 for some people. Like it's a literal 10. And so I don't know. But it's also, didn't IGN give it like a 7 and GameSpot?
And GameSpot gave it a 7.
Yeah, that's wild. So some of those people are going to be going the other way.
But that's 2 outlets.
I know. I'm just saying overall, though, what's the Metacritic on it right now? As you close out the podcast.
2, I think. All right, that was your casual gaming conversation. We'll be back next week talking predictions for the nominees, or for the then revealed nominees. We're streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 10. I got Hi-Fi Rush. Nick has Final Fantasy 7 original, and we're switching over to Resident Evil 4 remake with Brady on Mondays. And then new TikToks every day, casual gaming every Thursday, as you know.
Yep, and by the way, Starfield is at an 83, so that's
it started in 87.
Yep, it's as reviews continue to come in, I think it will continue to go down a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, that's your show. Thanks so much for hanging out. Peace out.